the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Jason Moore, Mike Wright, Andy Holloway. What a day to be here with you, talking fantasy ahead of the big game. The big game.
You can't use the real
It's so big.
trademark names, just a big game.
Does anyone have a trademark to like the biggest game or the bigger game?
Oh my
Does anyone
gosh.
have the big game trademark? Because then they'd be like, nah.
Look into all three.
Yeah.
That is-
Claimsies.
That is the move.
Everyone.
The domain name, thebiggame.com, is for sale.
For how much?
No price has been disclosed.
Oh, what about bigger game and biggest?
Look into it.
Yeah,
I'm on it.
We own a lot of unnecessary domains, Mike. You can get any of them that you want.
I would consider all of them very useful.
That's why we have them.
Bro, we were so early on ChristmasFootball.com.
We have TuesdayNightFootball.com.
Yeah.
I think we probably have WednesdayNightFootball.com.
There's a good chance. I'm on it.
Like, if we go through another pandemic, we've got all the days that they're going to be playing football
That's
on
right.
lock.
That's right.
Welcome back into the show. The truth.
Bad news.
Hello.
We do not have Wednesday night football.
Oh, we don't have Wednesday
No.
night. We have Saturday night football?
Probably.
How about Halloween football?
I don't know, man. We're losing them all
Gotta
right
get
now
our
by talking
top-
about it.
Our top
These are
men on
supposed
this.
to be secrets.
Oh, great. Don't have business meetings.
Live
At the top
on air
of
at
your
the top of the show.
podcast?
Look, I'm excited. We do have the Super Bowl coming up, and we've got the Truth episodes, the final 2 episodes this week. Somebody nod at me. Yes.
That's correct.
Yes, the final 2 Truth episodes. Sunday is not just the big game. Sunday is the big game takes a back seat really to
Yeah.
the Ultimate Draft Kit pre-orders begin on Sunday at a discount. The 2026 Ultimate Draft Kit. The team has been working like gangbusters.
Mhm.
The new app, huge refresh, looks better, runs better, more effective.
The first part of the Dynasty Pass will also launch on Sunday, so that'll be available if you've got the UDK Plus, or if you're an Ultimate Foot Clan member, you already have it.
So that'll be ultimatedraftkit.com on Sunday, and the Dynasty Pass immediately available. We've been in our Dynasty Startup rankings, talking through all of those.
Oh, man.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. And Andy, we had the same problem.
Yeah.
Jason, you were not in the room. We got to the point of the tight ends, and we're like, George Kittle.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What do you
I just kept clicking the down button.
possibly do? Because you have to call. You got to call your shot one way or the other. Either he's like a screaming value because he can return from an Achilles injury at post 30 and be a dominant tight end,
Oh no.
or he can't, as the rest of the people who have torn their Achilles, like where they just go way down in fantasy value. It is so
I don't think the people
brutal.
understand the amount of pain it brings us to do rankings.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
hard work. We have to move guys like George Kittle to places we don't like them. In Dynasty, when you get older, you get it moved down, even though we respect you.
He's under contract for 4 more years.
All right,
Four
I
more
got you.
years.
I got
And
you.
you clearly
Isaiah
would-
Likely or George Kittle in a Dynasty startup.
I would.
I mean,
I knew you.
because
I knew you'd pause.
Likely's free agent.
Yeah.
So he might be a boat, but George Kittle. Oh no. You'll have to
It's
check
tough.
out the rankings.
I mean, it's tough when you think like even worse, like a fellow older tight end like Dalton Schultz, like
Buried.
right, like Kittle's career could be pretty much fantasy-wise over. If it takes him, 3/4 of the year to get back, and
Theo
then he's not
Johnson.
ever himself this year.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah,
Theo
Johnson.
If you're in a startup
Theo's up
draft,
there.
That's
in
what
a
I'm saying.
startup draft, you would take Theo Johnson.
Meowston Taylor.
Oh, stop it. Oh, maybe.
No.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's why I said stop it. Stop
I
it first.
know.
Stop.
Have
Terrence
some
Ferguson.
respect. Terrence,
Man, I
This is
love
that's the fun of Dynasty
Yeah.
and the challenge of Dynasty rankings.
You
and
can
we're-
see where our George Kittle spot lands
Yeah.
on Sunday.
with weeping and gnashing of teeth.
he will be the only player listed as between rank 5 and 25.
Yeah.
Just somewhere in there.
Those injuries are tough. They're tough. But that's all coming on Sunday, and we do offer a pre-order discount. If you are a member of the Foot Clan, you get a discount on top of that. And obviously, if you're an Ultimate Foot Clan member, you just get access on Sunday. Nothing more to buy. We appreciate each and every one of you supporting the show. You can find us over on X at the FF Ballers, where we've always been. You can find Jason at JasonFFL, Mike at FF Hitman. I'm at Andy Holloway. The community is at jointhefoot.com, and you can watch the show every day, youtube.com/thefantasyfootballer. Subscribe, click the bell, and let's jump into the news.
News and notes from around the league.
All righty. The Raiders, I'm going to share their news first because they made the news first.
Mm-hmm.
Clint Kubiak, after he completes his potential Super Bowl victory with the Seahawks, will become the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, the next head coach of Fernando Mendoza, Brock Bowers, and Ashton Genty. He's done a masterful job. Seattle will have gone through 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years, but it looks like Clint Kubiak's going to take over.
This is why your head coach should be the offense. It's very tough to have something like Seattle next year. There will be massive questions about their offense because it's not strange to have a team dominate like they are. They lose their OC, someone else comes in, and you're like, oh, they're not even close to as good.
You know, it is weird because we're going to talk about another situation that's similar but different.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think now you're starting to see if you've got a great offensive head coach, you could still lose your OC. I mean, obviously, the next piece of news is an OC for Sean McVay leaving. But I guess, Mike, you're saying your offense doesn't take as big a hit when
Correct.
the main man in offense is at the top.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. So Mike LaFleur is going to be the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, the final hire of the head coaching positions that were open. He's unique in the sense that, well, one, Liam Cohen, Kevin O'Connell, and Matt LaFleur all were the offensive coordinator for Sean McVay. And he's really the one. You don't have a loss in Los Angeles because McVay's calling plays.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But these guys have all gone on to great success. Kevin O'Connell, obviously, in Minnesota. Liam Cohen, amazing year so far, or had the amazing year with Jacksonville and was great with Tampa Bay. And then Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Now, Mike LaFleur, his brother, the LaFleur bros, Al Borland and his Packers, and us, Arizona, pretty much the same storied
right.
franchises.
Yeah.
Pretty much identical. You got Jonathan Gannon now. We're just interwoven. We're like
Yeah.
the same. You have more rings. Anyways, Mike LaFleur, new head coach of the Cardinals. Jason, you've done a deep dive here. You're kind of optimistic.
I am optimistic. I think in the
But
end.
you're not normally for Arizona. You're happy too.
Bro, this is what we wanted from the beginning.
Yeah, from the
We
beginning.
had to hold it back because I didn't think it could happen.
Well, everyone else got hired, and he was still there, and he's like, okay, I'll take the job. Wait, you going to give me 5 years? Because I'm not coming unless you give me 5 years. Okay, you give me 5 years, which they did. I in the end, it won't matter. The Arizona Cardinals are broken from the top.
It
However,
could matter.
I do think that Mike LaFleur is a good – both – I mean, Kubiak and LaFleur, my tweet from the beginning of the coaching cycle, when Gannon was fired, my tweet that I keep going back to over and over and over was any LaFleur, any Kubiak, any Harbaugh. That's all I wanted. Give me any of those brothers.
Harbaugh went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Kubiak went to Las Vegas.
And
there
we
was
got
LaFleur left over.
the baby LaFleur. But, I really do like when you have – this is not someone without play calling experience, right? Like Mike LaFleur was already an offensive coordinator for the Jets where he called the plays. Those offenses were bad, but those offenses were Zach Wilson offenses, and whenever Zach Wilson missed games, their offenses were great.
right.
Connor Hughes tweeted, you shared it, Mike LaFleur's Jets offenses when they did not have Zach Wilson were top 5 in most statistical categories. as long as it wasn't Zach
Yeah,
Wilson.
wasn't that like Mike White?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they have a quarterback plan in Arizona. So maybe they roll Kyler Murray. Maybe they trade him and draft someone or bring in the New York Jet, Joe Flacco, who was there with Mike LaFleur. But, TBD on the offense. I do think that this is a very good hire.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for both. Like maybe we were a year early being excited for Las Vegas, and maybe we still would be a year early with Mendoza being drafted and all the, challenges of being a rookie quarterback likely to start week 1. But there's more optimism there with Genty, Bowers, and Mendoza as a core to build around.
Yes.
And you mentioned Arizona gave LaFleur a 5-year deal. It reminded me of when Detroit gave Dan Campbell a 6-year deal. We all were blown away by it, but it's a commitment to developing a team and an offense over
It's
time.
also the punishment for being a terrible franchise for a long time. Like Detroit was in the doldrums. They're like, we'll give you a 6-year deal. Just come. And so, yeah, I'm thrilled.
Cardinals got to be paying like 7-8 coaches by now. Ravens hired Declan Doyle to be their offensive coordinator who will call plays.
That's another OC leaving under a head coach that is the offensive mind. Ben Johnson loses his first piece.
Yeah, I mean, but it's Ben Johnson. So
right
now Declan gets to go call plays for the Ravens. Could be interesting. Sean Mannion, the new offensive coordinator for the Eagles, but they also hired another one in Josh Grizzard so that they have 2.
Wait, no. Grizzard was hired as the passing games coordinator, but sure, the wink because he was the OC for the Bucs. I just can't believe that we are doing this show where Sean Mannion is now a head coach because I remember Sean Mannion's rookie year in 2015 for the Los Angeles Chargers. We talked about him on this show when they drafted Goff and
you were calling for Goff to be benched.
Yes, for Sean Mannion. Dude, I mean that was a running bit for a couple of years of just believing that Sean Mannion was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And now the fact that
he on the field, it's just too good.
Him and Trask, right? You're a big Trask guy.
Just wait till he's an OC, man. But this is so interesting to me, and we will see. I don't think this was on many people's like bingo card of like which OC is gonna get which job. I didn't hear Sean Mannion's name anywhere.
Well, a lot of coaches turned down offensive coordinator in Philadelphia as well. That's been troubled. By the way, you want to know another dynasty rankings challenge? Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown.
Yeah,
A.J. I can tell you right now I have really Devonta Smith ahead of A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown is very tough.
Yeah. Sean McVay, Les Snead. The Rams said, hey, you almost made it to the Super Bowl. Here's some more years and some more money.
This is great news for Puka Nacua. We've been talking about it on the Dynasty show of like when you rank these top guys, right? It's usually Jamar Chase, it's JSN, it's Puka Nacua, but it's like Puka always had still has the giant red flag of
Stafford.
Stafford is old. You're going to lose Stafford within Puka's career, obviously. But if you lost Stafford and McVay at the exact same time, which I think a lot of people thought that might be the way it goes, just when you lose your quarterback, you smoke bomb as the head coach.
Right. I gotta take some time.
Yeah.
I'll go do TV for a year, find a team that's got a quarterback.
I mean, it is the better approach. It's such a better approach.
It's a great approach, but it was always funny with McVay because he's so young.
Right.
Like if you talk about all the historical things you can build up as a head coach, like it was just like the retirement conversation just kept happening for him, for Aaron Donald, for Matthew Stafford for years, and then now he signs an extension. So there you go. The Vikings fired their general manager because whoopsies. We did not.
Yeah.
We did not keep Sam Darnold, and we did.
There was the big quarterback whoopsie. This one, it's still weird. Didn't he just get an extension last year?
Yeah, he got because he had a 14-win team with Sam Darnold and built a
Adolfo Mensah.
Yeah,
This one's weird.
Yeah,
maybe this is just it. And they were like, dude, how did you screw up the Sam Darnold thing? Which that had to have been a team effort.
The rumors,
from Minnesota.
It takes a village to blow that.
Well, so part of it wasn't necessarily a team effort. Some of the reporting that has come out after the firing has been basically that this was the GM's decision to move on from the veterans and to draft a rookie, that LaFleur was more in the camp of keeping Darnold, but it wasn't just Darnold.
LaFleur?
O'Connell?
O'Connell, sorry.
That'll help.
O'Connell was there's a lot of LaFleur talk today. That he was more in favor of keeping Darnold, and then you had Daniel Jones there too, and so you had other options on the roster. But even then, it's like, I actually think they would have been okay with Carson Wentz. Like, you lost a lot of quarterbacks here.
Do you know what's so funny? The parallels, we were talking fantasy, right? We're talking NFL news, and it's fun to, the hindsight is 2020, right? Sam Darnold arrives. They're in the Super Bowl 2 straight years, dominating. What was on their mind wasn't the 14-win season. It was the playoff collapse.
Yes.
Which was wrong of them to prioritize that, it seems. But what's funny is the parallels to, we do this in Dynasty. We have a team that's performing or a team that's playing well, and then we get a little greedy with, man, if I could just get a few years younger at quarterback or a few years younger at running back. I mean, sometimes that happens in Dynasty where we say this all the time, don't just play for tomorrow. When you've got the bird in the hand that led you to a championship game, maybe run that back a little bit. Yeah. Don't just oh boy, that CJ Stroud looks like the future. Let's pick him up in Dynasty and get rid of Mahomes, and then it doesn't work out the way you want.
No, it's a good point. I mean, you yourself have had introspection on this. I do remember, though, I think it was on the Footcast, where you came to the conclusion that you sold too early.
No.
Until you went and looked at your lineup and were like, oh, no.
Sold just right.
I held on to the bitter end.
But no, it'll be interesting because we trust O'Connell. Jefferson's entire future hinges on the right decisions being made. It's impossible for this team to move forward with JJ and nothing.
It could be
JJ, but and nothing cannot exist.
The absolute weirdest part of this whole thing, which we haven't even mentioned yet, was the timing of firing him. I mean, it's February. Like, this is draft season. The Senior Bowl has happened.
Where he was
there running the Vikings organization. And so now they're saying,
just stay there.
We're going to
one-way trip to the Senior Bowl.
Start their GM search after the draft.
Not
so that
great,
means
man.
that means the draft will be done without a formal general manager.
What?
And then right after the draft, free agency opens. You're not going to probably have your GM, certainly not one that's got a game plan for this organization. It just seems like you are shooting the nail gun in your foot.
Well, the divisions are really easy.
Oh, soup's easy.
One.
But my absolute favorite part, because personally, I don't know the ins and outs. I was surprised by it. I didn't see this coming. But the meme of the year, the meme of maybe all time of the JJ, 9 face with all the other quarterbacks superimposed into that image whenever they play poorly. But now coming back full circle, the season is over, and it's just him talking about, when you get your GM fired, it's just the 9
He's
picture
back.
undoctored.
Do you know?
So good.
Do you remember the record? Give me the Vikings record.
I want to say they won their last 4 games in a row.
They were like a game and a half out of the playoffs or something.
9, 8. I'm gonna 9 and 8.
9 and 8, 5 straight wins to end the season.
5 straight wins. Okay.
So
fire that
they will
man.
bring in somebody, whether it's Cousins, somebody else that can be a veteran that can, because the ripcord, you may have to pull it quick.
You might, but man, going through a full year of free agency and the draft without a captain.
Yeah.
I feel like you could be damaging your franchise for multiple years.
I mean,
It's
obviously
really
they have put someone in charge, as they basically have an interim GM. But the timing was seemingly short-sighted, but there's been a couple transactions in the past where I was such a head scratcher that turned out to be some of the best things ever. I will never forget how dumb I thought the Sean McVay hire was, hiring a 30-year-old kid.
Sure.
I was like, okay, maybe you know something I don't.
Yeah. I mean,
so this would be the second time.
Dalton Kincaid's 5th-year option likely to be picked up, according to Brandon Beane in Buffalo. Josh Allen confirmed that he underwent surgery to repair a broken bone in his foot.
Seems minor, like an 8 to 10 week timeline should be good for training camp.
And they hired the former Broncos senior offensive assistant Pete Carmichael as offensive coordinator, but Joe Brady will still call plays.
Did you guys see Joe Brady talking Keon Coleman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Said it was the best thing for Keon that he's the coach.
If I remember right, he started going Dion. He started going third person. So or did he say
about Joe Brady?
Yeah.
Look, he's a Keon Coleman fan, which he's the only one. So there you go.
Super ironic that at the press conference for the firing, was talking about how they were a fan.
That GM is still employed and promoted.
Oh man, what a world!
And he hates you, Keon.
Raheem Morris got passed over for the Cardinals job. The 49ers hired him as their defensive coordinator. This is what the 49ers do, man. They pick up the failing defensive head coaches that get fired, run them for like a year at DC, and they go get jobs again. Chase Brown in talks with the Bengals regarding a potential extension.
Oh, boy.
This can't happen.
Oh, boy.
Entering the final year of his rookie deal. Fifth round pick. He hasn't made his money yet.
No, he has not. This is great. I mean, it's a great sign for dynasty managers out there.
Great for me.
I mean, a little bit personal. I got some investment on Chase Brown. But saying of like going back, the breakout was 2 years ago for Chase Brown, and then there was a lot of offseason. Can he make it through the draft and not get replaced? And then he did, and then it's, man, where does Chase Brown belong for fantasy football? A little bit rocky start when he didn't have a quarterback, but then incredible towards the end. But I feel like along the journey of Chase Brown, especially when you're talking dynasty, never has it been, what if Chase Brown's going to get an extension with the Bengals? It was always just, how long can we hold out and get all the fantasy juice from Chase Brown until they certainly eventually replace him? They may not be replacing him, and that would be
detrimental to everyone in the league of record. I like Chase Brown, the man. I want him to get an extension or a
Brooks loves it too. He's on Brooks' dynasty team.
He is a great player. He's a great player. Kirk Cousins expected to be released by the Falcons. They're going to move forward with their own version of JJ.
Which that means Kirk Cousins is a starting quarterback in the NFL in Week 1 in 2026. Almost.
What?
If he's releasing on the open market, I think he'll go out and find a job starting Week 1.
He'll probably be a bridge quarterback somewhere.
Okay, it could definitely happen.
But he will be. How
about the Vikings?
Think he'll sign for not that. I'll agree.
Oh
with that.
no,
he wants to start.
He wants to start, and he has always done a good job of getting his money.
Yes, he has.
He's made a lot. All right, we'll take a break and we'll jump back into the truth. Let's do it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
All right, on our last episode, we talked about the top 10 finishers at the wide receiver position, breaking down the truth. The very top-end group, they were very consistent in conjunction with where they finished. Some of the players at the bottom, not as much. Jameson Williams made the top 10. That tells you about where that consistency level got to in the top 10 finishers. We talked about how wide receiver scoring was down on last week's episode. We compared 2025 with every other season since 2018. Wide receivers saw just 58% of total targets, which is the lowest number in that span. The tight end position, we've gone, let's go back to Laporta, Bowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we had
this year?
This year.
So we had trifecta. You had
Laporta, Bowers, but then this year we have
Fannin, Loveland,
and Warren.
And Warren.
So the impact of the tight end position broadly, but also these rookies coming in,
and just
it's significant.
Some offensive philosophies of the Rams. The Rams were the legendary. They were the 11 personnel team that always had 3 wide receivers out there. Now they're always throwing out heavy packages.
Yeah, it's 13 at all times now.
The wild thing too is it's we know from our running back truth episode, this didn't, the proportion didn't go to a bunch of running back targets. We didn't have a lot of running backs catching a ton of passes. So, yeah, the number's down a little bit for the wide receiver position. Defenses overall defended deep passes very well, which is not super fun for fantasy.
No.
I mean, Dallas knew what the assignment was.
That's why they were fun for fantasy.
Yeah. But this was the fewest 20-plus air yard touchdowns over the last 7 years. That's not fun. That's not fun.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
If only you could complete more than 50% of those throws, you would be in the Super Bowl. Only 2 teams did it, the Seahawks and the Patriots.
Wow. They could make big plays.
Yeah.
They knew how to do it. So we take a look beyond the season finish, and we look at consistency, and we're diving into our second group of wide receivers. A great game, because you're going to hear me talk about the percentages of great games, good games, and bust games. A great game's 20-plus points. Good games, 12.5 or more. Bust games, fewer than 7.5.
And these are all half-point PPR. Half PPR? Half-point PPR?
Thank you, Jason.
What are we NPR? What is
Yes.
That's it.
Sultry, buttery. Like Courtland Sutton, wide receiver, number 11.
Courtland Sutton at 11. He doesn't feel that
No
way.
one after wide receiver 6 feels like they were any good. And that was what you just had, this nice, long, eloquent talk about how wide receiver yardage and everything's down. They all suck. Like, what? This is a very good wide receiver who is a wide receiver 1 on this season, and no one was happy with him all year. It was like, he's not even the wide receiver 1 for his team.
Don't say all year, because over the first 7 weeks, I mean, you had 2 clunkers in there, but you had, 5 usable weeks. Like, Courtland Sutton felt, I mean, I've had him. I drafted him for the league of record. Up through that point, you felt like, okay, I have a guy who I will be able to depend on. Maybe, super ceiling that won't be there like it was last year. And then in the middle of the year, it really fell apart.
I mean, Jason was hitting that Troy Franklin button way too much.
Yeah, baby.
He really was.
And then it was, hey, it's Pat Bryant, and hey, it's Marvin Mims. I mean, and Bo Nix wasn't doing enough. That was part of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, consistency rank for Courtland Sutton in the second half was 22, and that's more what the season felt like. You're right. He was more consistent in the beginning of the year, but you were still waiting for breakout games, which you only got 12% of the time.
Right.
Great games, 47%, bust, 29%. Look, Courtland Sutton does not always feel like an alpha wide receiver. Sometimes he does.
Yeah.
Seems like he's capable of it, but he also makes just a few more mistakes than I think some of the true premiers make.
He is a very good wide receiver who is a wide receiver 1 for his team. This offense, I would say, was the bigger disappointment. If this offense was faster pace, higher scoring, and everything just percentage-wise moved up, Courtland Sutton would have been fine. But he's 30 years old right now. And so going into next year with some of the young guys like Franklin, who was just 20 targets behind him and for a large chunk of the season was leading Courtland Sutton in targets. And Pat Bryant, the end of the year, started to get on the field more, little glimpses of a breakout coming. I don't think we're going to be excited about Courtland Sutton. I know he just put up basically identical seasons in back-to-back years. Wide receiver 11 to 13, depending on your scoring format. Next year, maybe it'll be an age value if the offense gets better with a change of offensive coordinator.
We do have news on their offensive coordinator.
Davis Webb.
Just happened.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Not a surprise that Courtland Sutton news would happen immediately when Jason's talking about it.
Breaking news.
Yeah, Davis Webb. Kyle was trying to convince us.
It's Sean Payton.
Kyle was trying to convince us in our Slack channel that Davis Mills just got the job with the OC. So while I didn't hear a single thing you just said, Jay, because I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm scouring the internet looking for Davis Mills news. You're like,
Davis Webb.
Davis Webb, which that makes
more sense.
Way more sense.
Because he's not a backup quarterback for an active NFL team. But Courtland Sutton, that's his story. He was okay.
He was okay. And
it's not flashy.
It's like Bo Nix had 25 passing touchdowns.
That's what you noticed the problem. Like at the end of last year with Bo Nix and the rookie season breakout, it was like every week was a Sutton touchdown.
Yes. And Bo Nix had 25 touchdowns, and he had 2 games of 4 passing touchdowns.
Oh, man. When you say it like that.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Disgusting.
8 of his 25 passing touchdowns came in 2 games. I mean, that's super cool if you played him that week, but that's a lot of your production tied up into 2 weeks.
8 of 25, so he had 17 of them in 15 weeks. Is that the math?
Yeah.
That's the math?
Yeah.
And that's why you weren't really thrilled with anyone on this offense. But also part of why you weren't thrilled with anyone on this offense is the opposite reason that you were so thrilled with the Dallas Cowboys. This is an elite defense, and it should be elite next year. So I don't think this is an offense we should be targeting too heavily because they don't need to score a lot to win.
Yeah. Number 12, Tee Higgins. Jason calls him
Meat Higgins.
Meat Higgins. What's new? I mean, another season with some blips on the attendance chart for Tee Higgins, but this was when he was active and Joe Burrow was there, it's the same old Tee Higgins. Second half consistency versus first half. First half 25th. Welcome to the Bengals. You're going to see the same thing with Jamar Chase and Chase Brown. Second half, though, 5th in consistency. Played 15 games.
11 receiving touchdowns in only 15 games.
Yeah,
and
I mean, that is
11 undocumented concussions.
And 7 documented.
Yes.
No, I mean, the story with Tee Higgins is he's always very good when Joe Burrow is there. He is not going to put up 1,500 yards. He is not going to catch 100 passes. He is going to be very touchdown dependent. He seems to be very good at getting into the end zone, but 59 for 846 is whatever, right? If he had 5 touchdowns, we're not talking about Tee Higgins today. 11 touchdowns, though, that's a difference maker in a year where not a lot of guys got to double digits. So 13% great, 47% good, 27% bust. His games played, this is an improvement.
Yeah.
2022, it was 7 games. 12 in 2023, 11 last year, 15 this year. Okay.
The truth about Tee Higgins is always the same. And this is why, if Mike has been proven the year of Mike to be right, maybe you should be in on Tee Higgins, because every year it's, man, Tee Higgins was great in this situation, which is usually just on the field. But we always had the asterisks because he would start the game and then leave early. So he didn't play the game, so it ruined all of his stats. But in reality, in games he played the whole game, he's always awesome. Well, this year we had the quarterback struggles for the first 6 weeks. If you take out those games and you just look all the games he played with Joe Flacco or Burrow after Flacco, his wide receiver consistency score would have been the number 4 wide receiver. He was really good.
Yeah.
And so year after year after year, we're having the same conversation of he is so good, but things go wrong.
Yep.
Where he is.
They do, but he'll be a player that I'm guessing I'll be targeting him yet again for fantasy football. We love that the Bengals, at least as of right now, it looks like the Bengals they're going to run it back.
Well, they can do that on offense. That's fine. Their offense is fine. They cannot do that.
So is their defense.
They cannot do that on defense.
No, their defense is awesome. Lose Hendrickson, get worse.
Let's talk about the 13th ranked wide receiver with a first half consistency of 49 and basically non-existent, and the 6th most consistent wide receiver in the second half of the season. At 25 years old, Michael Jerry Rice Wilson. Michael Wilson was the number 6 most consistent in the National Football League, with fantasy finishes of 2, 9, 2, 19, 22, 10, and 6 over the back half of the year. 12% great, 35% good, 47% bust. It doesn't feel fair to look at it in totality because the season just wasn't something consistent for Arizona, right? They lost Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett takes over, and Marvin Harrison gets hurt.
Yeah, he had his breakout in Week 11. And so if you look at from Week 11 on, which is that's a large chunk. He had the second most points behind Puka Nacua. He had more than JSN.
There you go.
He had more than Amon-Ra, more than George Pickens, everybody. Only Puka Nacua outscored him from his breakout on.
Right.
Which we felt every week. He was awesome. On film, he looked great. He was open. He was fast. He was physical. He did
50-50
everything
balls.
you want. 50-50 when it was contested, and
deep plays.
he'd come down with it. He came down with it. I mean, across the board was great. I hope that we do not, as a community, overreact to it, because I've brought this up in the past. But what happened towards the end of the year when Kyler came out and the defense – I mean, a lot's been made about the injuries to the 49ers and how far they went. The Cardinals were right there with them with total injuries, especially on the defensive side, as far as lost games from starters. And Jacoby Brissett was on pace to throw the ball 700 times. So, yeah, if the market share, even if he stays at the market share that he had, you're not throwing the ball 700 times.
Marvin Harrison missed 5 of the 7 weeks that Michael Wilson was awesome. So this was not a precedent for the future, but not exactly Travis Fulgham either.
Kyle, what,
it's not going to be Michael Wilson's not going to be deleted after a breakout.
I wonder
like
where
this.
he's going in underdog right now. So Kyle, give me that.
It won't be high.
Okay, well, I mean, it's one of those things that is. It's so funny because this is a player that it's all about value to me. I believe he is a very good wide receiver.
He's going 77th. Wait, no, that's wrong.
No.
That's wrong.
He's going positional rank 30. So he's going at wide receiver 30, right around pick 70 overall in ADP.
Yeah, that's not the highlight, though.
And he is going 3 wide receiver spots in front of Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, baby, get wrecked. Get wrecked, Marvin. Oh, my gosh. Spread him. Spread him. I got a kick for you. Get out of here. Oh, I hope that happens next year when draft season.
How do you Marvin has never shown any sort of ceiling like these 7 games.
Oh, man.
That's the problem.
That's unbelievable.
Oh,
he is
also
I got you good.
For
3 spots ahead of Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
For the record, our Slack channel apparently has an automatic GIF that presents itself if you write spread them, which Kyle chose to write,
and it is perfect.
Just a kick in the nards.
Just a kick. Look, would you draft? Well, here's the weird thing. Help me with the
I would rather have Marv.
Help me with the intellectual inconsistency of that, though.
Okay.
Here's the argument. This is because I understand exactly. Everyone's going to say that. I'd rather have Marv.
Well, not.
And you want to know why?
Apparently.
You want to know why you're going to say it? You're going to say it because, man, he's got the potential to put up half a season like Michael Wilson just did. We've never seen it. Michael Wilson did
you know
the
what?
ceiling.
He might do that.
Michael Wilson didn't go out and give you Courtland Sutton, wide receiver 15, 16, 17, sometimes scored.
Yeah.
He went out and did more than Harrison would ever be able to do. If Michael Wilson had done what he did in the second half, he's the number 2 fantasy wide receiver.
If Marv was on the field for when he did that, then absolutely that would be insane to think that he could do that. But
why would Marv be able to do it with Michael Wilson on the field? You don't ask that.
My point is that I don't think Michael Wilson will do that with Marvin Harrison on the field because I think Marvin Harrison will be the wide receiver 1 in targets. I mean,
it's a real question. Why? Why should he be?
Draft capital, expectations, pedigree, all those things are real. They are real.
Yeah, but this new coach.
Yeah, new coach is coming in.
They were real for a lot of first-round wide receivers that haven't. Keon Coleman should be first-round draft pick. No, Keon was first.
No, he wasn't.
He was the first pick of the second round.
Okay.
Did you?
How dare you, Mike?
Did you just get a fact? You check, and your response was okay.
Yeah, you shamed the truth.
That was awful.
That's so stupid. The truth.
Who's the Minnesota top 10 pick? Treadwell.
Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's
how about
his
Kevin
dad?
White?
Who's his dad?
His dad doesn't matter.
It does,
his
man.
dad. His dad hurt him at this point. It hurt our pick.
I'm on Andy's side of, especially when you factor it. This is a new coach that will come in, and sure, he'll be excited. He'll be like, "Oh, Marv was drafted number 4. He was drafted number 4 2 years ago. He still has done nothing. But on my team, I got a tight end, and maybe the best tight end in all of football. And then I got this guy over the second half who was a top 5 wide receiver.
This is, look, I understand. I'm arguing for the sake of arguing.
Mm-hmm.
I understand everything that you're saying. It's just I don't think that there's a real logical pathway that it makes more sense for Marv to do what he's never done than it does for Wilson to do what he has done. Is all I'm saying. For a long period of time.
The logical path is simply the fact that in the first 10 weeks when they all played together, Michael Wilson was on pace for 70 targets versus 114 for Marv, who was the one. Now, Marv might not be better than Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson maybe should usurp Marv in the pecking order of targets. And maybe that will absolutely happen. New coach comes in.
They'll probably
you're better.
finish 30 and 33.
Yeah, I mean, right where they're being
That's probably
drafted.
what's going to happen. 7th most first read targets among all wide receivers for Michael Wilson. Won't see that run again as long as people are healthy, and the number 1 target is Trey McBride. We'll take a break. We'll talk more wideouts.
The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And right now on Prize Picks, you can find your community. With the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends, copy lineups from winners with a single click. You can copy lineups you like or use them as an inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. We have been loving the Prize Picks app all year long on the fantasy footballers. I mean, truly before this year as well, but more or less, it's so simple. It's so connected with fantasy football. We're talking, passing yards, receiving touchdowns, targets, things that we already know and we understand. And honestly, if we know fantasy football, we're pretty good at projecting those things. So make sure you check it out. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code BALLERS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code BALLERS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. This week, Prize Picks has a special max discount for the big game live in the app now. Drake May needs just 1 passing yard for the max discount to win. Just add another player to your lineup, and if your pick hits, you can cash in. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
All right. Let's have the conversation.
Oh, man.
A.J. Brown came in at 14. Devonta Smith at 21. E-A-G-L-E-S. A.J. Brown, consistency of 14. Devonta Smith, consistency of 39.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this is a bad year for Devonta Smith.
It was a bad year for the Eagles offense.
I mean,
Saquon, Hurts.
They basically, just for context, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith put up the exact same numbers. That's basically almost identical numbers. A.J. Brown had 3 touchdowns more than Devonta Smith.
And also games played is different.
You're right. Yep.
I mean,
he missed. A.J. Brown missed a couple games. But from a fantasy truth perspective, consistency in the first half, 28 for Devonta Smith, 36 for A.J. Brown. That hurt everybody in fantasy, with those guys being outside the top 25 in consistency. Second half, A.J. Brown, we had talked about it on the show as a trade for target. He ends up at 8.
Yeah, because he talked enough where they started throwing him the ball and losing games. I mean, that down the stretch, they went 3-4 in their last 7 games when A.J. Brown started becoming the wide receiver 5, 1, 12, 17. More not causation, more correlation, but it's still a funny thing to look at and just be like, they won a lot more games when A.J. Brown was not the focal point of their offense.
Great games for Brown were 20%. Devonta Smith, great games, 6%.
Yeah.
Good games, 40% for Brown, 29% for Smith. Bust games, 59% for Devonta Smith. You're talking about under 7.5 points killed you type of games. What do you make of that?
Man, what we need to discuss is really what happened with Dallas Goedert, how he became such an important passing target that hadn't been really prior.
It feels like they messed something up.
Yeah, I mean, well,
you know
obviously
I mean?
they fired their offensive staff. They brought in genius superstar quarterback Sean Mannion, And so I don't know what he's going to do.
You ever put the wrong pieces together on an IKEA furniture and you end up with something different than
Yeah,
you wanted to do?
yeah.
The
All of a
shelves
sudden,
backwards.
all of a sudden you pull out the drawer and there's a Dallas Goedert right there,
Mm-hmm.
and you meant it to be an A.J. Brown.
We've all been there.
I don't know what that analogy even was.
The
Goddard had 11 receiving touchdowns.
Good
just
night.
to remind people.
Good night. They
which,
couldn't run the ball. They couldn't play action the same way.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the question is was it system or was it quarterback? Because there are the debates. People say that the system has to be dumbed down for Jalen Hurts, that Jalen Hurts can't run these complex motion systems. It doesn't jive with his skill set. And we've heard this multiple times. That's one argument. On the other side is he's gotten to the Super Bowl twice. He's looked great. He's put up great passing numbers, great rushing yardage when he's got, Kellen Moore. When he's got an offensive coordinator that gets it done, all of a sudden the offense is chugging, and Saquon Barkley's the number one running back in all of football. So there was also the Lane Johnson very important injury for that stretch of lost games. That's probably much more on Lane than it is on A.J. Brown.
Goddard's a free agent. If you're the Eagles,
Oh, yeah.
If you're the Eagles, do you just? I know they're not a patient franchise, but do you just chalk that up to our offense just got out of sync? Let's run this thing back, because all last year we got talk of A.J. Brown leaving and being unhappy. Going into this season as Philadelphia, you have two choices. You can build your offense to be more around A.J. Brown so he's happy, or you can have a mad A.J. Brown in the locker room. Those are your two choices.
I think they will look to move A.J. Brown.
Does that's where the Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown dynasty question gets interesting to me. It's because I look at that ranking and I say I don't think A.J. Brown's – he's either on this team for one more year or no more years.
I could also see A.J. Brown pulling a Brandon Marshall, though, and going and dominating
I think
at an older age for another team, because he's – when he goes somewhere, he's going to be that squeaky wheel demanding the ball. And, if he gets a gunslinger.
He's still just – he's 28. He's on the older side, but not that old.
Yeah, but Smith is 27.
I was going to say it's only a 1 year age gap there.
Oh, man, you don't think that because Smith is so small. And you're
He's
small.
still growing,
you're
right?
small, and then you grow up and you become an A.J. Brown. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, what's the years played difference? So Smith has played 5.
Wan'Dale Robinson's only 15 years old.
Yeah.
So Brown has
Little
played
baby
7
boy.
years.
Darnell Washington.
Of the two, I'm still going to prefer A.J. Brown. He could still take over a game where I feel like things just kind of have to break right for Smith on the way that the game is unfolding.
Well, we did talk about the lack of the big play, and Devonta Smith, that's a big part of him being valuable for your fantasy team. Not a lot of teams could get that done. Tetairoa McMillan comes in at 15, consistency rank of 20. Somehow 20, despite a 27 in the first half, 23 in the second half. This is probably going to be your rookie of the year. Tetairoa McMillan, the totals, 70 for 10, 14, and 7. Not as much opportunity as you would have liked him to have.
Correct.
But pretty much showed his physicality and ability to dominate whenever he had those opportunities. So I think you look at this season. What was the numbers for? Give me Marv's rookie year.
Marv was
was
700.
I thought he was 808.
I wanted to see the differentials between those two because he had more touchdowns than Tetairoa did.
Tetairoa McMillan, the year having him on your fantasy squads, I don't think didn't feel fantastic. He came through with enough spike games that it was definitely worth it. You put up. So
did he meet your expectations? I would say he's slightly below.
Marv
maybe a little bit below.
Marv was 885 and 8 in his rookie season. There's not that many rookie wide receivers to hit 1,000 yards. This was a really good rookie season from Tet. What it wasn't the sensational breakout. Brian Thomas, Neighbors, Puka, Jefferson. Yeah,
all the really good ones.
The breakout superstars.
Yeah.
There's just not that many of those guys.
This is more of the Drake London plan.
Yeah,
is what it felt like, because I think you guys love Drake London's tape instantly. Didn't get the numbers accumulating, but it's come over time as the team and the offense has gotten better.
That's a great comp. But if you want to look deeper into that, Drake London rookie year, 866 yards and 4 touchdowns. So Tetairoa had a much better rookie season than Drake London, who we know is a great player. Tetairoa showed to me he's a great wide receiver. He is what we hoped. He is what the Panthers hoped. I think this could be as much a Bryce Young problem as it is a Tetairoa problem. And so I'm going to bet on the talent of a position that can be so rewarding. I'm very in on Tetairoa.
Yeah, and it's 70. Wait, what was he like? 1,007 or so. I mean, to do that with that offense and Bryce Young, especially when you had spots of the season where like the team was like, no, it's Rico Dowdle. I mean, the Rico Dowdle weeks. What did McMillan even do in those?
Right.
I
Watch Dowdle.
misremember. Maybe McMillan had an okay game, but like you have two games where Rico Dowdle's rushing for like 200 yards a game.
Yeah, that was weeks 5 and 6.
So week 5 he still put up 10 points, and then week 6
he put up 16 points.
He had 2 touchdowns. It was not a huge output day, but he had the tutties.
Wan'Dale at 16.
Another surprise.
Wan'Dale at 16.
Oh man, this is why I'm excited for Dart and Neighbors next year.
29th in consistency, 21st in consistency. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Let's say Dart carried Wan'Dale Robinson to being a top 20 fantasy wide receiver. Like this is 92 very exciting.
92 for 10, 14, and 4. Neighbors out early in the season. 13% great, 38% good, 44% bust games. Wan'Dale's the weirdest because some days he just looks like he could dominate.
Yes. Well, it was against bad teams as well. I mean, the bottom 16 in his 6 games there, he averaged 16.45 fantasy points per game. Against the top half defenses, it was 7 fantasy points a game. Wide disparity. He obviously benefited from Neighbors being done. He showed that he can do it. I'm going to
give this credit. I'm going to give it all to Wan'Dale. I'm not going to give beneficiaries anywhere else. He's done it 2 years in a row. He's done it There's only 3 wide receivers with 140 targets and 90 receptions in each of the last 2 years. Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Wan'Dale. I'm just giving the credit to Wan'Dale Robinson.
I'm with you.
He's a baller. If you do it 2 years in a row, and every year we have to be like, he only did it because of – I mean, he's just going to find a way to – that's like Amon-Ra's story.
Can I ask you
from his rookie year.
What you think his consistency grade is on this season?
Oh, it's got to be – I mean, it's got to be Giants level. That's got to be a D.
You're right. It's a D. He helped you 35% of his games. So he is an accumulator, and I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the little guy.
Yeah, I mean, when did Dart take over? We had Russ this year?
We started with Russ.
We also had somebody else.
But also one of his big games was with Russ.
Had some Jameis. Yeah, look, you're trying to take away from a guy.
I'm proud of
and what he's done.
I'm proud of him.
And I'm just telling you, he did it 2 years in a row.
He did big boy stuff.
Oh, my gosh. 2 years in a row.
So that's why I'm so proud.
Tee Higgins would never play this many games in a row.
No, that's true. He's got bad meat.
He had more top 12 finishes.
Just like Devonta Smith.
He had more top 12 finishes than Tee Higgins, more than Courtland Sutton.
Wandale is good.
Yeah.
Wandale is a good player.
Wandale is good.
He has.
It's why he plays in the NFL.
He also has had some people calling plays for him in the past where they had clearly pigeonholed him into a role and they felt like he couldn't do something else.
Like go downfield?
Right. And then this year, I feel like it happened just multiple times. You're like, oh, holy crap.
Second rounder, Jason.
That's Wan'Dale Robinson.
Wan'Dale Robinson. I'm going to be honest here because the jokes of just being proud of this little guy because he's 5'8", 185.
Yeah, it's got Andy Isabella in the back of your mind. Go on.
He is good. When they started using him in the middle areas of the field, it's like for so long it was either just like go run and do nothing or get a screen behind the line of scrimmage.
Giants expected to re-sign him too.
Yeah, I think Mike is excited about Dart appropriately if Neighbors and Scadaboo can come back healthy. This is an offense
I'd love Wan'Dale to be back. So how I'm talking about he was used incorrectly. Do you understand how staggeringly crazy similar his numbers are from this year and last year? Last year, 140 targets apiece. This year, 92 catches. Last year, 93. He caught 66% of his passes in both seasons.
Yeah, give me his yards last year. 600 something.
699.
Yeah, I knew it.
7.5 yards per completion.
And now 1,000.
This year, 1,000 and 11 yards
because they let him go down the field.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
way better.
That's egregiously
Dude, let
bad
him
coaching.
run.
Yeah.
Rundale.
Oh,
Rundale Robinson.
Also,
let's go.
Also, while I give props to the little guy,
just you do.
he is
That's
tough
such a-
as nails, man.
That's such a backhanded.
I know. It really is. I'm just having
Coming
fun
from
here.
a big guy.
I'm just having fun here. The actual compliment here is he took some shots across the middle, down the field, and
Didn't get tuckered out.
No, he didn't. It's fun, isn't it? It's fun.
We got to blitz some of these. Drake London.
Oh my God.
His season was marred by injury. This is a perfect truth show player. 17th in fantasy finish is what you're going to see when you come back to fantasy football, or you're reacclimating to the fantasy finish. His consistency was 9.
Yeah,
Drake London's a top 10 guy.
Absolutely. He was good with Cousins. He was good with Penix. You're fine. Drake London is a great player. He's the clear number 1 for a team without a number 2.
And he won't go late in drafts, but he might go a few picks too late because it wasn't a continuous domination season, because of the change at quarterback, because of the missed games. Just something to pay attention to.
He's entering year 5, Kyle. So he's about to get paid. Yeah, there's no way.
He's not even 25 yet.
Yeah, entering year 5, he will be.
He's way up there in the dynasty rankings, man.
Well, he'll get his 5th year option.
Well, they would have already had to pick that up. I'm saying he'll get an extension.
Yep.
And he'll get it this offseason.
Diggs, insanely at 18. Consistency rank at 26. Stefon Diggs felt sort of like
Mostly irrelevant for a lot of the year. I mean, like you said, his consistency rank of 26. This is sometimes when we're looking at this, now we're getting to the place where the guys that surprise are the guys that played 17 games. Diggs played the whole year, so at the end he accumulated more on a points per game basis. Obviously, he didn't do what some of the other guys.
Would you have rather played Diggs all year or Egbuka, who comes up next at 19? Egbuka, consistency of 36. First half was 16, second half 43.
I would choose.
Don't look at the back half of the year on our consistency charts. It's gross.
If I had to lock one of them in all year long, I would choose Diggs, who went off in weeks 16 and 17 for the championship. I don't have to look to see how Egbuka did in the playoffs, because I know that was in the second half of the year, where Egbuka was second half ranked 43 in consistency.
I mean, he's a horribly difficult player to rank in Dynasty.
Man.
Because it's not about whether I think Egbuka's good. It's just you have a lot of players there right now.
He was holding the breath away from the 101 in Dynasty startups. Like there early this season.
Point
during
the
during the hot run, it was like this is
I think it was right when Papa Josh acquired him in Dynasty. Wasn't that? Don't you have him? But
I don't even want to talk
did he
about
get
it. It was the worst timing imaginable, dude.
At least you didn't have to play him in the playoffs.
Buy
That's
high.
very true. That's
right?
very true.
Buy high is what they say.
You know who was one spot better than Emeka Egbuka in consistency in the second half of the season?
Uh-oh.
Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver 43, wide receiver 42 in consistency second half.
Don't say Jalen McMillan.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh no!
That's another.
Let's finish with that.
Yeah,
because he came in at 25.
Ouch.
27th in consistency, 8th in the first half, 42nd in the second half. Look, you can say anything you want about what you believe about J.J. McCarthy, but the proof is in this man's Hall of Fame stats. I mean, Justin Jefferson, if he doesn't perform, it's not his fault. That is the position I will take.
He played all 17 games.
Well, does that add up to 0% great games?
Let me
17
check.
games from Jefferson. You would think that a randomly thrown pass.
I would think that if you went out there, you could get him one.
Was it David Blau that threw that random deep bomb to Galladay on Thanksgiving?
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, how did he not get one of those?
9.
He had more bust games than good games, percentage-wise.
Yeah, he crushed people. I mean,
do you really want J.J. McCarthy there, Mike? You're a Minnesota guy. Do you want him there?
I still believe that J.J. McCarthy will turn out and be okay.
You're not just Do you want somebody great behind him for a quick?
Yes, he needs to be challenged.
Also, turn out to be okay. It's not a high enough bar.
I feel like
As
JJ
in,
McCarthy.
the career will be okay.
JJ
So
McCarthy
he'll be a
is
good
my
player.
scuba tank that I was happy to have on as I went scuba diving. And I went down, and instead of being filled with air, it was filled with lead. Okay, so I'm diving deep, and I've got no oxygen. And I got to figure out when do I take this thing off and try to get to the surface.
I was trying to figure out how that tight. I get it. You take it off.
Yeah,
so
I
you
feel
can
like
breathe.
I'm going to try to
All right, Mike.
to swim.
All right, on account of JJ McCarthy, the people need to hear this. Jefferson finished at 25 this year with a consistency rank of 27. Take your
He
year,
will finish higher next year.
Take your time machine and tell me the numbers. Jefferson
next year?
finishes. Yes. Jefferson's fantasy finish.
If
and
he
his
has JJ
consistency.
McCarthy as the starting quarterback.
Just whatever you think
Okay,
happens
next
in
year.
Minnesota.
So wait, where did he finish this year?
25.
It's definitely going to be better. I'll say top.
Better not have a 1 in front of it.
It will.
Oh, man.
It will. Well, I'm trying to work my way through it. I don't want to just be like, he's a top 5 guy. Like, I mean, the top 15 will happen. It's tough. Top 10 is still in play. He's being drafted as Justin Jefferson right now in best ball. He is the wide receiver 8,
He's being drafted that way in Dynasty, too.
and he's
the wide receiver 8 in best ball?
right now.
Goodness.
I could see it.
Yeah, I could too. If they trade for a quarterback, if they get Kyler Murray or someone, I could see it. But with JJ there, I will be.
So they won their.
bypassing.
The weird thing is they won their last 5 games, and Jefferson was 79th, 77th, 26th, and 52
That
in
defense,
4 of them.
That defense was great.
Yeah, it was very good. I mean, the McCarthy year, you forget how much time he actually missed. I mean, he missed 9 games. Maybe I'm doing the math wrong. 5,
That's
6,
counting.
7. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know
I'm trying
that
to
they
count.
call
I'm
that
trying to
math.
go really
I'm doing
fast,
some
Jason.
advanced math over here.
1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4.
I'm having so many conversations in my head at the exact same time. He had a couple of good games
There's medicine
at
for
the
that.
end. Yeah, please. He had a couple of good games at the end.
Not his last 2 games.
I know. It was Washington and Dallas. Then he got hurt.
Dallas.
Yes, Dallas really, really proven their worth there. He gets hurt the next week, and then the final week of the season, if you remember, that was there's no way he's coming back. It's going to be, oh gosh, now the backup, his name is escaping me.
Was that Brosmer?
Yes, Brosmer. So
Brosmer.
also in some of these Jeff Jefferson games is Brosmer.
Oh, yeah.
So
before I shut it down,
don't just crap
Jason.
on McCarthy.
Yeah, before you shut it down, last player to just throw out there, because he was consistency rank of 4, and I want to remember that going into next year.
4 seems high.
4 seems high, but he was, because we don't penalize the games that you don't play in, was Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice was consistency rank of 4, in the first half consistency rank of number 1. He was great.
Another really difficult Dynasty player to rank.
Yeah.
Because you're right. The numbers for him when he was on the field, unbelievable. Wide receiver 11, 2, 13, 6, and 3 in 5 of the 8 games.
Is Kelsey back? Does it matter if he's back? I mean,
Kelsey was there for those.
Rashee Rice, that's what I mean. I'm like, okay, let's say Kelsey is completely out. Now, what does that do? Is that better or is that worse for Rashee Rice because they have to find someone who can...
I think it might be neutral or I mean, I think if he's out there and all the externals are not considered,
stuff.
I mean, he's been targeted on 30% of his routes. He has Patrick Mahomes. He has Andy Reid. Only Puka and Malik Neighbors have been targeted on a higher percentage of his routes when he plays. It's been a couple of years of him not playing all the games. But, yes, I'm glad you brought him up. That way the last player we talked about didn't have to be DK Metcalf at 26. Mm-hmm. So we won't talk about DK Metcalf today.
Oh, no.
And we won't talk about wide receivers anymore. So
champion, League of Record champion. DK
Thursday
Metcalf.
We'll be back. Tight End Truth episode. We'll talk to you then.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.